Hi everyone, I'm Fiona. I'm nearly 34. I have normal to dry skin, and as you can probably see, I'm extremely pale. Just for a general reference, I'm about an NW10 in MAC Studio Fix Fluid. That's probably the most common foundation I can think of that most people have a match in. I don't have that one for you today. I've got some other ones that are lighter coverage that all match me fairly well. So if you're about an NW10, this should be okay for you. I would say I'm probably more neutral than anything, or neutral leaning cool. So the first ones I'm going to start with are the cheaper options that are available pretty much everywhere. None of these products are especially trendy or new. I think the newest one is probably, it's still a year and a half old, and then the oldest one is probably out 10, 15 years. So I'm going to start with probably the one I've been using the longest, which is the Rimmel Match Perfection Foundation. So this has an SPF of 20 and I have it in the shade 001 Fair Porcelain. You can find this all over the place. You can find it in Boots, Superdrug. I think I got this one on Amazon for like £6 something. And I've gone through many bottles of this over the years. I'll do a swatch both on my arm and on my face. So that's what it looks like on my arm. Surprisingly yellow there, actually, but it doesn't look yellow on my face. And I've got the rest of the pump here. And that's what it looks like. I'm going to leave that there, and I'm also going to leave it on my arm because I know a lot of people have concerns about foundations oxidizing on them, oxidization. So I've never noticed that this changes colour, but we'll see. I wouldn't say that any foundation I've ever found has been an exact duplicate of my skin, but some of these are pretty close. The next one is a very similar foundation, slightly more expensive, but again, it's from a drugstore or a high street brand, and this is the L'Oreal True Match Super Blendable Foundation with hydrating hyaluronic acid. Now this has been around forever and a day as well. I remember using this when I was a teenager. However, the shades had an update a couple of years ago, so I used to use, I think, C1, then they made 0.5 or 0.5C. Now they have 0.5N, which is a better match for me. I think many years ago I used to think I had cool skin. So this is actually a brand new bottle. So I'm going to give it a shake. And then again, I'm going to do the exact same thing. I'm going to put a pump onto my hand, or rather onto my arm, I should say. So that's there. I'm going to blend that in, well, spread it over my arm really. So that's that one there. And again, I'm going to put a little bit on my cheek so you can see what it looks like. So that's that one. I would say I use these interchangeably. They're very similar. They're both medium coverage. They kind of give a semi-matte finish, nothing that doesn't look like skin, and both very comfortable. I would say they have an average wear time. Then moving on to something newer, but still at a reasonable price point, I would say the L'Oreal, you can usually get it for about 11 or 12 pounds, but they often have 3 for 2 on. This one is from Maybelline, and I have it in the lightest shade, which is 02, and it's their 24-hour skin tint. Now, looking at that bottle and looking at my face, they are not the same colour. I can get away with this in the summer, or I can mix it in with a little bit of a lighter concealer, and then I can get away with it. The reason I put up with it is because I love the finish of it so much. It's absolutely not a skin tint. It's more going on medium coverage, I would say, light to medium, but on the side of medium. But the finish is absolutely glorious. It gives you a beautiful glow to your skin. So again, this has got the worst packaging ever as well. I hate this dropper, but I'm going to put a little bit on my arm. Same thing. This is the lightest shade, despite it being called 02, but it does give me hope that they might release another one. So that's that one there. Same thing, I'm just going to take a little bit of that there, and I'm going to put it here. To be honest, it doesn't look terribly different from the other ones, but believe me when I say that this is a foundation you're blending down your neck and hoping for the best, or you're mixing it with something else, but I just love the finish. I have exactly the same problem with L'Oreal's skin tint, it's just a hint too dark. Right, on to more high-end foundations. So the next one I'm going to talk about is the Lisa Eldridge Seamless Skin Foundation. I think this came out about 2 years ago. I have the shade 2, that's what I was matched to, and surprisingly it is the right colour for me. This is probably as good a match as the True Match, the L'Oreal. I absolutely love this foundation. It melts into your skin. You can definitely feel that a makeup artist created this. So again, I'm going to put a pump on my arm. That's that one there. They're all starting to look very similar, you know. So that is the Lisa Eldridge right there. Again, similar consistency. I would say this has light to medium coverage. I'm actually going to put it there. I know that might be annoying, but I didn't plan this very well. And that's what it looks like. They're all pretty easy to blend in, but this is the one that sort of is closest to disappearing, I suppose. The best match I've really got ever. Although it doesn't really look like it the way I've swatched it. It's a really beautiful foundation and definitely worth the £38. I'd say its lasting power is average. It's not a stay all day Estee Lauder Double Wear, it's just not. And the last one I've left is the MAC Studio Radiance Face and Body in the shade C0. And to be honest, W0 is probably a better match, but I didn't even know that existed at the time. I haven't left best for last necessarily, but it's the one that's the most different, and also it runs everywhere. So I didn't want it dripping down my arm or down my face for the whole video. I'm going to give it a good shake. Don't know if you can actually hear how liquidy that is. And I'm going to just pull my sleeve up a bit further so it doesn't get onto my nice hoodie. And then I'm going to go for it on here. So that there, the end one, is C0. As you can see, it is a bit more yellow than the others. And then I'm going to put it here. As you can see, it's much sheerer than the others. It also gives a much more luminous finish than the others. And it's also really beautiful if you want to go heavy on your eyes, heavy on your lips, but keep your skin really natural. It's best applied with fingers, I would say. All the others are pretty versatile. You can apply them any which way, sponge, fingers, brush, whatever you like. This is definitely one to put on with your fingers as it improves the coverage as your fingers heat up the product. So I think that's about everything. Someone did say on Reddit that they didn't want super long videos, so I tried to keep this as short and concise as possible. None of these foundations oxidize on me. That's not really an issue I have. Usually if something is too dark, it's too dark from the second I put it on. So again, I'll go through. So we had the Rimmel, the L'Oreal True Match, then we had the Maybelline Super Stay Skin Tint, the Lisa Eldridge, and then that one there on the end is the MAC Studio Radiance Face and Body. Can you tell I'm not a professional? Absolutely. That's all of them on my face. All of these work for me in some way or another. The hardest to make work is probably this one, but I just can't give it up. It's a bit like, you know, being in a toxic relationship with a foundation. All right, I hope you enjoyed this and it wasn't too terrible. And thanks very much for watching.